Good evening. Thank you very much for that. Actually, I won't say 3 years. 2 years preferably because the 1 year is just self learning. So I'm not gonna have that as part of my experience, anyways. So good evening, everyone. I'm so grateful to be here. So I'll share my screen now. Topic for today.
Oh, you can go ahead with the presentation.
What do you say?
You can go ahead with the presentation.
Yeah, sure. I want to.
Please let's exercise the kind of little patience for our speaker to go ahead with our presentation. I think currently she's off, probably network. Can you just wait a minute or a few minutes before she come on again? So please let's be patient.
Hello, sorry about that. I have issue with my network. Hello.
Yeah, well, with you, welcome back. Welcome back.
Okay. Today the topic given me is product design and the roadmap. So I'll just do a breakdown of the two. What product design is all about. The roadmap of what product design entails. So if you can't hear me, please just let me know so that I can go back.
You're audible
Thank
enough.
you
You
very
can go
much.
ahead. You're audible enough.
Thank you very much. So good evening, everyone. My name is Aminat Akwende. I'm a product designer. So I will be talking on product design and the roadmap. So what do we know product design is all about? Everyone has one or two ideas or definition on what they think product design is all about. So I have two definition which I just brought down here. For the first definition, I said product design describes the process of imagining, creating, iterating products that solves users' problem or address specific needs in a given market. Then the key successful product design is understanding the end user customer, the person for whom the product is being created for. Like I always say to people when we have a conversation, there is no product that will be coming out now that has not existed before or that is not in progress before or that people have not used before. The only thing that makes it different is just okay, there are some key features or some structure design that come into process that make that product unique and different from the ones that has already exist. Then I have a second definition that says the process of creating a new product or improving on an existing one through various design techniques by doing your research. Is there any available products that needs to be done on that design that is available, or bringing in new ideas to make sure that users have easy access to what they're doing. So, roadmap. When we say roadmap in the design phase, we are talking about how we structured design to be able to achieve our products. We could say that, okay, we are trying to create a chart. We have a pie chart, a bar chart that illustrates whatever content we are trying to bring up to it. So the general understanding of roadmap here, I said a roadmap is a high level plan that outlines the goals, priorities, and milestones for a product or a project. Okay, it provides a strategic overview of a project which enables team members or stakeholders to understand the direction and progress of a project as well as for time delivery. So, this roadmap is more like a documentation or in form of a chart. In this aspect, we are looking at grant charts where, okay, you're able to put in what are the things you need for designing a particular product or project. Then you put it in to progress by putting a documentation, putting the timeline when it needs to be launched, and the risk that needs to be attained to that product. So this is just a general breakthrough. And examples of products road mapping. So I have what is product design road mapping. So I put here that product design road mapping is a process of creating a strategic plan for developing a product from its initial concept to its final design. This roadmap outlines the steps that is involved in the product development process, which include from research stage, from design, testing, and production stage. So, for every product to come into life, there is always a process. There is always a direction that you need to follow. There is always a research methodology that you need to follow when you're trying to design a product. For instance, if you're given a project, okay, you need to design this, you won't just go and start creating something. You have to, like, okay, I need to understand the project, what the project is all about, one. Then I need to go and make research. What are the other findings that is involved in the research? Then I need to know that, okay, after I've done my research, I've done my documentation, what is the next step I need to do? I need to, okay, come up with a design. Will this design flow with what the research I did? Will it flow with the research that I make? And if it doesn't, then you go back again, do your research. What are the things that I need to bring in into the design to make sure that I have the best key to this design? So that's that. Then it helps you to identify the key milestone. Okay, what I said earlier on, you need to do your research, you need to do your um testing, you need to do your design, you need to do the production aspect. Then this road mapping helps you to identify the keystone, the timeline, and the resources you need to bring into the product so that it can be a perfect product for the users to be able to use. Then I have importance of product design road mapping. For every product to come to life, there has to be a steps you need to follow. There has to be a reason why you're doing this, and there has to be um an endpoint you're trying to make here. So first I put for organization leadership. So when you're doing a particular product, you need to let those that are involved in the product be able to go along with whatever you're doing. That's why we have tools like Jira and Trello to track your design process as you're going along your design process. Sorry. Then we have product owners and managers. Whenever you're designing, the owner of the product or the manager that is involved, the product manager that is involved, also needs to be carried along as the process of your designing. You need to communicate. You need to know that, okay, this is where you are, this is what you've not done, and this is the last aspect that needs to be involved. Then I have for the developers. As also designing, you need to carry along your developer so that he or she will know what to implement along the way. He or she needs to understand the bigger picture of what you're trying to focus on while you're designing. Then I add key components of product design roadmap. For every project, you have a goal and objective. Okay, why am I trying to design this particular project? What are the objectives of the project? What are the problem statements of the project that you're trying to design? So this roadmap is just a way to help you outline everything you need to do, you need to undergo when you're designing. Then I put a roadmap should outline the overall goals, project and objectives of the product design process, such as creating a product that solves a specific problem. For every product to be out there, there is always a design process. You need to define what you're trying to do. You need to understand the goal of your project. You need to be able to come out with analysis, either qualitative analysis or competitive analysis, or quantitative analysis. Then you have competitive analysis. Who are the existing competitors in the market that have the same product like you also? So you need to understand this procedure. Then we have the roadmap. We have key stages and milestone. The roadmap should be able to also allows you to understand what you're trying to do. For here, I put roadmap should outline the key stage of product design processes, from the initial research stage to your prototyping, to your testing, to your concept development, to manufacturing. Like I said, every product needs to go undergo research stage. You can't just start designing anything. You need to be able to come up with ideas. Okay, this product is meant to help users to do this. Okay, we can implement this in this way to allow it to be faster than the initial way we're trying to come up with. Then I have timeline and resources. For every product, there is always going to be a timeline. There is always going to be a resources that you need to check through to be able to achieve what you want to do. Some projects, they might be like, okay, the timeline you need to use is just 3 days, just because you're just designing just few screen. Some might be like, okay, months, and some projects will take forever because it has no ending. After launching it, another idea will come out again. You will launch it again, another one will come out again. So the project keeps on going, but not just same features. We have different features coming in. Then resources. There has to be resources such as technology, funding, and how you are able to achieve the process of the project or product. Then risk and challenges. What are the risks involved when you're trying to design a product? Sometimes some product might not have a launching stage because it does not have a feasibility process. You've put in money, you've put in everything, but still it's not being able to come out with the successful idea you want. For instance, there is this project, we call it RMS. This project has been in existence for a very long time, even before I got into the system, but up to now they've not been able to come out with the idea of what they want. So I feel like for a project to start first, check the feasibility of the project. Is it visible? Can it be attained? Can it be achieved? If it's a project that is available to be achieved, or is a project that, yes, even when the risk is involved, you'll still be able to continue. You will continue the project and launch it. So for every project, you should be able to know the risk that is ascertained. You should be able to know the challenge that is involved. So that so that we'll be able to understand what you're trying to do. Sorry, please. So yeah, I have product design road mapping process. What are the process that is involved for you to be able to achieve effective roadmap? I have communication. You need to communicate your goal or your the product of the goal to the team. Once you're able to communicate it to the team, it will help you to analyze wherever you want to do so that it will be very effective. Then establish a plan of action with your internal team. I mean, the team you're trying to work with. Establish a plan concerning what you want to do and what you need to determine, what you need to determine. Then craft a create a draft roadmap, meaning that you should align your goal, your project ideas with whatever research you've done in order to avoid ongoing too much details in the process of your designing. Then always ask for feedback whenever you're doing things. There should be feedback. Okay, I need you to check this for me. I need to understand the procedure for this. I need to do things that I might not be able to complete. So please help me out on this aspect. So whenever design is ongoing, there should be a feedback. Okay, please check this for me. How do you feel, or how does it look like? Then for every design structure, or every design made should also be presented to the owner of the project so that he or she will understand that okay, this is what is ongoing, this is the steps, this is the stage we are into, and this is the procedure that we need to come up with. So basically, design roadmap is just a visual representation of what a design of a design you need to do, a representation to complete your design process. Mostly this tools is basically used by let me say a product manager, because he or she is the one.
Aminat, are you there? Can't hear you. Aminat, are you there? Aminat, are you there? Can you hear us? Can you hear me?
Hello, sorry, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. You can continue.
Okay, thank you, sorry for that. Okay, so what are the requirements needed to become a product designer? Well, as tech world is evolving, I won't say this is the particular step or this is the particular procedure you need, but as you're learning and you're working, you keep on developing your skills and learning according to the flow of what the tech world is all about. But I'll just say a few things to become, what are the necessary things you need to become as a product designer. For me, I'll just share my own experience. For me, while I was in school, I really don't know what I want to do. Okay. During my IT days, I just go in, let me just find somewhere to do IT. But along the line, I found out that I was actually enjoying networking. But during my 6 months, that was during COVID period, so it was even a year. So during the 6 months, I saw that networking is wider than it is. It's not just okay, clipping of cable, configuration of switch. It's more wider than that. So I just had to like, okay, let me just do this for my IT base. Then once I'm back and settle down, I'll be able to know the direction of where I'm going into. So after my defense, I came to my like back to myself. I was like, okay, what next do I have to do? So just a friend that introduced something to me was like, okay, I know you can do this. So just take these few courses. Let me see what you say about it. So he said, okay, I should go into programming or I should go into UI UX. I just did my a few research. Then I started to say, okay, UI UX would be something I could afford to do. So what I just feel like is UI UX is something that I'll be able to do. Sorry, to do. So along the line, this is what I'll just say. For a way to become a UI UX designer, be passionate about whatever you do. Be passionate about what you do. And like I said, I mentioned some design process when I was explaining the importance of okay, the key importance of whatever you're going to do. When you're designing a product, just make sure that you have research ready available. Do research, enough research as soon as possible. Make sure you have a research at hand. There are inspiration sites that you can go to check illustration to check inspiration rather. There are books you can read on to understand whatever product you're trying to build, and always go through design process. You need to define what you're doing to understand the statement the problem statement or whatever you're trying to do, and you need to know that you're not just designing because you're good at what you're doing. You're designing because there are some other users that will use that product and they will be happy using that particular product. So firstly, just know that okay, I'm able to do this because there are so many challenges as a product designer. So many challenges. At times there will be burnout. You won't know what to do or what you need to design. So just be passionate. I'll say one, be passionate about what you do. There are tutorial videos people you can watch. There are research books you can read, and mentors. Always reach out to people. We are not good enough because there might be some things that okay I know and some other person do not know. We ask questions. So reach out to people that can help you. Ask questions. Ensure that you reach out to people. I'll just say that reach out to people that can direct you. And also when you are reaching out to people, and also do your own research that okay, this research I understand what I'm trying to do. I understand this particular, but I'm stuck at this particular part. So in case the person is putting you through, it won't be like, oh, you've never heard of this before. Even though you've never heard of it before, at least you have an idea of the process the person is trying to take you into. So this is the little thing I'm going to say. Though I'm trying to the topic given to me from the research I'm able to do is just what are the roadmap that are involved when you're trying to design. For a message is popping up telling me the otherwise, but then this is just what I'm able to come up with. So in case you have question and answer, I'll be able to attend to that. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Aminat. Thank you for the elaborate explanation on how product is being designed, and I believe we've actually learned from that. Um, and also thank you for being able to touch how someone can actually get into product design, which is the major focus of tonight's event. But you know, we also learned from what you just discussed now how products are being designed, and you've been able to touch the aspects of people getting into product design. So I'm going to ask some questions, but before that, I will allow people on this call to ask you questions so that you can give answer to that. So I'm just gonna give permission to like two or three or four questions so that we can keep to the time we are meant to run this event. So if you have any question, you can let me know. You can just raise your hand or you can drop it in the chat box. So if you have any question, just let us know. So if you have a question, all right, Oguleye Folukemisola, all right, you can go ahead with your question. You can unmute yourself and ask your question. Folukemisola, you can ask the question. Okay,
Yes,
yeah,
good evening, everyone,
yeah, good
and
evening.
thanks to Aminat for that great presentation. My own question is, how can you come up with a product to be designed? Is it like you can just search through and come up with one, so you get a team to run that for you? You know, in one of the tech summits I went to, they said that guy was talking about how he came up with a product and be like he want to add that to his portfolio. You grab, like he work with a team of people to add that to his portfolio. Is it like that, or is it that we cannot get clients as a new person? You understand? Is it like we can just go online, search up for products we want to do, then do them, or how can we go about it? That's my question. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Kemisola. So, Aminat, you can respond to that question.
Good evening. Kemisola, thanks for that question. While I was learning, this is what I do most of the time. I try to use go to Behance. There are some people's projects that they'll post their work there. Then I'll just go there, check through what they do, then come up with my own idea. You get revamp whatever they do, but in a different way. Might be like adding features. Okay, for instance, now there is this lady, I can't really remember her name. She always do monthly challenge where she'll bring out some question, like a project question, like for a particular place there is something that is wrong and they want someone to do something for them. She get. So she just bring up that topic. Then people will just go through it. Then come up with a design ideas or whatever she come up with that question. You get. So from there, you can get a design inspiration. Okay, you can also check some inspirational sites. There's Behance, there's definitely J, there is some other site like that. I can't really remember all of them. But you can just check them through to know the idea you can come up with. Like WhatsApp now, I think there was a challenge like that for new features to have voice notes, to be able to pin status, and one other features like that they were like to be able to add to WhatsApp. And people come up with different design ideas which they were able to come up with. So I feel like sometimes you can just take your phone. There are some apps that you might not even be using again. Just download some apps, check them through and be like, oh, what are the things that I can add to this app to make sure that it's better? Come up with some creative ideas. Then you can just get from there. You can use it as a project on your own. Then post it as a portfolio or post it on your Behance. Hope I've answered that well.
Okay, thank you. Um, Kemisola, I hope your question has been answered properly. So, can we have another question, please?
Not really.
Not really. Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes. The thing is, I'm talking from the idea of inborn into technology. You understand what I'm saying? Into a technology world, like a newborn baby, like trying to learn one or two things in tech world. So that is the area I'm acting from, like a novice, not like somebody looking for a product to do, or is already an expert in tech and now looking for a product to design. Do you grab what I'm saying?
Okay, okay, I get you. For a newbie in tech, one thing I always tell them is that don't start like, okay, I want to rush, like jump to start using the software to design. You get, know the basics. There are tutorial videos that will show you, okay, this is what UI do, this is what UX do. Mostly, I always tell people that UX is very important because the animation, the whatever that we are going to design, the UI aspect, it's not really everything that the user will be interested in. What the user is mostly interested in is how to be able to, interact with that. So this is what I will tell you. When you want to start as a designer, start by knowing the basics. The basics in what sense? Read books. Okay, as a UI UX designer, what does UX entails? Watch tutorial videos. Know the basics first before you start getting into using the software. You get, okay. Um, for instance, now I've already know the definition of what UI is. I know the definition of what UX is. Okay, as a UX designer, what do I need to do? Okay, I need to make research. I need to understand the techniques of a particular project. I need to know that this and this are available in the market, but we can do this to make sure that they are good. So all I just need to do is do my own research on my own as a UX researcher, read more books, because mostly if you venture into the particular field of a UX, that means you need to read more, because you are a researcher. You need to understand more things than you being a UI. There are some people that they are good at UI, but their UX are not that solid. And there are some, God bless them, both their UI and UX is very solid. So what I would just say is, as a newbie, try and interact with people that you know that, okay, if you message this person, he or she will be able to answer you, direct you. Once you know the basics, then you can go into the tools. Okay, this is where to use the triangle, this is where to use the circle, this is where to use the shape. Then from there is dribble. You can just see like one screen or two screen and you feel like, oh, let me replicate this. Then once you are done replicating it, send it to someone that can help you verify, check for mistake. Is your alignment correct? Is your text usage okay? The hierarchy, how do you use your color? Then the image, what are the sizes, your text height, your text weight. You can send it to someone to correct you on that part. Then you can see another design again and just try to replicate it. In fact, these days, this is mostly what I do. I'll just go on any site I see, maybe something just pop up. I might just click on the site, then just replicate it, and I will send it to someone also to help me check what I do. So that way you're also learning. So this is what I'll just say. You can just get someone that will be directing you as you're learning on your own. Because self-learning is not easy. I did self-learning for a year before I start interacting, ask a question, people to guide me and direct me. You get. So what I'll just say is, as a newbie, don't start by, oh, I want to start designing projects, I want to start doing this, I want to start. Just take it step by step. There are tutorial videos out there you can watch that will explain to you the basic things you need to know, the basic ideas, the tools that are very important that you need to know, how to go about your design journey, um learning from the beginning. your UX part. Maybe you want to start by UX, you can start UX. Look for a particular product on your phone. Okay, what are the things that is good? What are the things that is bad? You're already learning. In this aspect, you're not designing. You're trying to come up with a solution for a product that you are using. You get. But when you want to design, also you also do a research, which is research you've already done before. So just you can just replicate little by little, little by little, little by little till you get there. Hope I'm communicating. Hello.
Yes, ma. Yes,
Okay.
ma.
So gradually from there you will get to, okay, the stage of I want to start building a project. I want to start creating something big. You get. And there is daily UI.
Yes.
There is a side to daily UI. Is a challenge. So every day it brings to you a design that you can just replicate, that you can just they can I think the one just say design an onboarding screen. Then you can just go to your dribble, look for illustrate ideas, inspiration. Okay, this thing asks me to do onboarding screen. Let me look at some onboarding screen I can replicate. You get. So from there you will be developing yourself gradually, and also most importantly get someone that can direct you, like a mentor, someone you can always message. And when the person is also directing you, ensure that you also have idea of what you're doing, not that you just see a design and you replicate. You get. So also have the idea of what you're trying to replicate or what you're trying to design, so that it will be easier for the mentor to even put you more to the best way he or she can explain to you, because everyone is busy. But if you also have your own idea of what you're doing, it will be easier for the person to put you through. Thank you.
Thank you, ma.
All right, thank you, Aminat. So, do you have anyone done with question before I proceed with mine?
I have question.
All right, go ahead, Mufi, follower.
Yes, sir. I want to make inquiries. For example, now this is my first time in this meeting. For someone that has nothing to do with, that has no idea about product design, UI and UX, how will how will you introduce the person into the community, and what are the necessary steps, and what the person needs to know and what he does not need to know, stuff like that, for you to become a pro in this community? That's my question.
Okay, all right. Now, from your question, it's more like you're asking two questions. Like, that's number one, how to become a UI/UX designer, and two, how to join the community. So, for the first question, Aminat is going to attempt that and give an answer to that. But for the second question, how to join the community, I will give an answer to that. So, I will give the mic to Aminat to do justice to the first question, how to become a UI/UX designer. I think from what she has said earlier, she has actually gave a kind of steps of how to be of becoming that, but she can still give you some or explanation around that. But for the second question, I'm going to answer the question after she's done. So Aminat, please give answer to Mofi follower's question, how to become a UI/UX designer, if there are some steps that he needs to take. Just give him a clarification.
Okay. Well, how will I start like this? Okay. How to become a UI designer? It's not something that is hard, and it's hard. But if you enjoy what you're doing, it's not hard. Okay, I'll just say this: for you to become a UI designer, one, you need to have your laptop and your data, enough data. Data, in fact, so more data. So that's that. Then, secondly, you need to do your own personal research. What does a UI designer do? What does a UX designer do? Okay, I'll just do a brief explanation on that. A UI designer is responsible for visual design of a user interface, such as websites, mobile application. He or she focus on the layout, the typography, color scheme, visual elements that makes up the product interface. They are also responsible for creating interactive elements like the button, creating of form, navigation menu, navigation bar, and ensuring that they provide user experience to the users, like the end users. Then for UX designer is responsible for the overall experience of using that digital product. In what sense did I mean? They focus on the user needs, the behavior of that product, the goals, and the design of the product to make sure that okay, when the UI is designer is doing it, he or she provide a easy use and satisfactory experience to the users. So then what are the steps that it's involved in learning? Number one, learn the basic. Start by learning fundamentals of design. Those don't just jump into I want to start looking for the best product to do. I want to start doing this. Put your time into learning the basic by yourself, or by doing. There are some um internship that teaches beginners to intermediate. You can look for them if you have the time, or you can decide to do self-learning. While you're also doing self-learning, you can ask question from any community you join, or anyone you know that can put you through. So learn the basic. Start by learning fundamentals of design, like I said earlier. Study design principles and theories. What are the design process? What are the design principles? Learn typography, colors theories, layouts in designs. So you need to start from the basic, learn the basic. Then this will help you out. There are some online courses too you can do that will put you through. Then from there you can get to familiarize yourself with the tools that are involved in designing. I believe now we all use Figma. Then there are some people that also explore other tools like Adobe SD, you get. And there are some other available tools too that you use aside Figma. You have Sketch, you have InVision, you have illustrations. But then just focus on the one that you need to design when you're designing. You can learn other ones along the line. Then learn um user research. What do I mean by user research? For you to be able to design a particular product, you need to do research, which is the UX. I remember when I was starting my own journey, I started with UX. So learn that. Ensure you involve yourself by conducting user interview. You might have a particular app on your phone that you are using, and you can just ask someone that okay, this app I've been using it, can you please tell me the things that you feel like is not good, by allowing the person to use it also. Then develop your skills, ask questions. That's what I tell people. When you don't understand things, ask questions. Don't feel ashamed. Today I still ask questions. The person was laughing at me. I was like, I don't know this thing, teach me. That's why I'm asking. Ask questions. When you're confused, ask questions. When you feel like, oh, this thing is not the right way, ask questions. And I tell people YouTube is the best teacher. You cannot always ask for guidelines from people. YouTube is the best teacher, the general school. Just type whatever is disturbing your design on it. Ask the question on YouTube, and if you feel that you could not get the best thing, like you said, the community you might join, you can drop a question. People will surely answer you. Then you can get a mentor, like I said, that can always direct you on anything. Then build a network. Like one of my boss always say, your network is your net worth. Build a network. Connect with other designers. In any industry, we have fintech, edutech. Connect with other designers. Attend events. So me, I'm an introvert. I don't know, but I want to try this year to start going out. Attend events such as design meetup, conferences, hangouts. Do a design work and ask people to query you, like criticize you on that job, and also um have that mind that people will criticize your work. There is no perfect job. My boss always criticize my work. He has never said thank you. The day he said thank you, I was shocked. Like, the day he said I love this, I was shocked. I mean, I'm looking at the design, I know that this is nonsense, so but he said he loved it. So people always criticize your work, so be ready for critics, and also keep learning, never stop learning. There are new things that is coming up, not especially when series of AI tools are now outside. Keep learning, never stop learning, and always ask questions. Keep asking questions. Anything that you do not understand, that you're not clear about, ask questions. And this way you'll be able to develop yours. And there are also sites that you can look for inspiration as you're learning. There are books that are available. If you're able to join any community, you can always ask for resources. Okay, you want to start learning UI UX, there are resources that people collate in a drive link. They do share it, so take all those resources, learn on it, study on it. And design takes time. You need to be very very consistent with whatever you're doing every day. You need to perfect whatever you're doing so that you could meet up with your skills learning. Thank you. Hope I did justice to that.
All right, thank you, Aminat. So, Mofi Folua, are you still there? Mofi Folua, are you still there? All right, so let me just
Yes, sir.
respond to the second. Okay,
Yes, sir.
so can you hear me?
Yes, ma.
All right. So
Yes, sir.
I hope you understood
Thank you
everything
very
she
much,
said.
ma. Appreciate.
Okay, so let me respond to the second question: how you can join the
Yes, sir.
community. So you can chat up the team
Okay.
lead, the person of Azus. Do you know Azus, sir?
Yes, sir.
The
He's
GDSC
the
team lead.
admin of
Yes.
the GDSC.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, yes, yes. Just chat him up. He's going to direct you to the person in charge of product design team lead. I'm actually the person in charge, but just go through Azus. Then he's going to
Okay, sir.
send a message to me, and you'll be added to the community.
Okay.
All right. So thank
I
you.
will
So
do that.
Adibole. Sorry, I don't know how to pronounce your name well, but just permit me. Adibole, you can go ahead with your question. I think this is going to be the last question. Okay, we can have an additional question to this. Adibole, you can go ahead with your question. Adibole. Okay, I don't. Adibole, are you still there? Ozizi, Odi, Adibole. Sorry, I don't know how to pronounce that name well. Are you still online? You can go ahead with your question. And if you're not there, if there's anyone that have questions to ask, you can go ahead as well. Okay, if there is none, let me go ahead with my
I
question.
think Osisi just typed.
Okay, you typed right. Okay, let me check. Okay. So, Aminat, this is the question. He said, "What's the difference between product design and UI and US?" Aminat, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Aminat.
Hello, I
Yeah.
can
So
hear you.
this particular respondent is asking the difference between product design and UI and US. Like, what's
Okay.
the difference between two of them?
All right. The two of them are related. Like they are related few, but only few difference I would see, in the sense that a product designer is responsible for overall design of a product, including from the start to the finish, its form, its function, its usability. A product designer is involved in every stage of the product development process to its production process. You get, but UI UX designer, once I'm done designing, I might decide not to follow up with my developer. He or she might decide not to follow up with the developer, and he or she might decide to follow up with the developer. In some companies, sometimes they'll just be like, okay, once you're done with the products you design, developer will just continue doing whatever he's doing. And when he's done, self, they might not even tell you that you should come and check what he or she do. It is left to you to communicate, you get, with the developer that, oh no, this is not what I do, this is what I want. And UI UX is into two form. I can decide to be a UX designer and not be a UI designer. So if I'm a UX designer now, I'm only dealing with the research part, so there's nothing concern me with your own designing, but I'll be able to see the usability part. Okay, once you're done, my research, does it go along with what you do, the functionality? Sure, you get. A UI designer does not even need to go into research if you're only doing UI alone, because there are people that split. They will prefer to be a UI designer compared to being a UX designer, while there are some people that they are both into two. They are good at the two. They are both a UX designer. You can apply for the, like, you can, they can apply as a UX designer and they will function properly, and they can also apply as a UI designer and they also function properly. So mostly, I don't really think there, to me, I don't think there is a difference. I don't know if there is any other person that has idea if there is different, because the two work together hand in hand. The only thing is just that a UI UX design might not see the ending of the product he or she design, but as a product designer, you will see from the beginning to the end, the functionality, the design QA. You will also be there when the developer is doing the integration and implementation of the work. So there might be someone that might have another idea or explanation on that. So I think from the little knowledge I have, this is my explanation. Thank you.
Thank you, Aminat, for the response. So do you get the explanation, OCZ? Okay. All right. Anyone with some question? Is there anybody on this call that have one or two questions to ask before I go ahead to ask my own question and we'll round off for tonight? Okay, let me go ahead. So, Aminat, for someone that is just starting out in product design or UI and UX design, what would you suggest? Should the person start with UI or the person should start with US? So that was the first question. And two, what are the resources that someone can harness to use in learning product design or UI UX design? Based on your own experience, like what are the resources that you were using then that you can recommend for people to learn? Maybe a course or a boot camp or a website that you think if someone that doesn't have any idea in product design can take hold at least in few months, he can do some stuff in product design. So those are the two questions I would love to ask you. So the first one, what would you suggest, UI first or US? And the second, what are the resources available that you made use and you think if someone laid on it, he or she can become a UI UX designer in few months? So those are my questions for you.
Okay. Thank you. I would say the person should start with UX, because UX is very important in every product. If you're starting with UI, there's no how you won't go back to UX, because you need to understand what you're trying to build and what you're trying to develop. And you need to understand that you're not designing for yourself or showing that, oh, I can do UI and perform miracle or something. You're designing for your users. They are the one that want to use it. The customers of whatever app you're trying to build are the one that will use it and even enjoy themselves while using. They won't have problem navigating up and down. So UX is very important in every design. So I would say the person should start with UX, then navigate your way to UI. So concerning resources you can use, there are so many resources. In fact, so many that so many people has put together and have put in place. So I will just share the link with you, then you can put across to people because there are so many. But for me, during my own learning days, things are changing. When I was learning, I use YouTube most of the time. There is this particular person I use. Bring your laptop and there's one other person, I can't really remember his name. So those are the two I used to learn, and some other resources that I was able to get from people that shared me. So I'll just share you the resources, and they are very easy to adapt to learn. It's not something that is hard, just basic things. Then there are YouTube also that is very, very explanatory because I felt these days something so I felt these days people like pictures than reading. Because once people ask me send resources and I send this, they will ask me, is there no video? And I'll be like, you also need to read too, because if you want to design, you have to do research on what you want to design on. So I'll just share the link with you, then you can just share it out with people. So that's all I just have to say. Thank you.
All right, thank you for the response. So, do we have anybody that have a particular question to ask from Aminat before we round up tonight's call?
I have a question.
Okay, you can go ahead with your question.
Okay, so earlier she mentioned something about having a working system like to learn. So I wanted to ask that is it possible to actually start learning without having a system?
Hello?
That's my question.
Okay. It's possible because you're starting with basic. You've not yet going to the tools you want to use, right? So that's why I said you start with UX. So you can just say a product and start making research on them. Like we do know when we want to do our final year projects now. So there are research we'll do. We'll be like, okay, introduction. This is what this project is all about. And then this is the problem statement of the projects we are trying to do. So you can, since you're learning from the basics, you've not started using your tool or software to design. But once you get to that stage of using your software or tool to design, then you need to get your laptop.
Tabitha, are you clear?
Yes, yes, thank you.
All right. Any other person with a question? All right. If there is no question, please, Azusa, are you on the call? Azusa, are you on the call? All right. Okay, Aminat, please, can you share the link or with us in the chat box, the link to the resources? Can you do that for us?
All right. I'll share it
Okay,
now.
so all right, thank you. So before you go, just tell us what the job search the job market is like, how the job market is for product designers or UI
Okay.
UX designers. What are the expectations? What should someone that wants to start learning UI UX design, what should he be expecting when it comes to job search? Is the market very competitive now? And what can someone have to design that can make the person to to be set out, like to be exceptional when it comes to job hunting? So can you just give us a kind of brief information on that? Talking from your own experience, at least you've gotten to work with like at least two or three startup. So can you tell us how job hunting was, and do you think the market is competitive? What do you think, as a designer, what can be harder to design to make someone to set out, like stand out or set out? So you can just help us, just share some light on that.
Okay. Design market is quite competitive though, but right now so many people are getting laid off, so the economy itself, it's a problem. But this is what I'll just say. I'm not going to scare anybody. This is what I'm just going to say. First, don't look at the money aspect. The money will come. Do more of volunteer work, like volunteer. During my 1 year, even right now, I still do volunteer work. You get, volunteer to work with people. Then when you're doing the work, ensure that you're not doing because, oh, maybe they are not paying me. Do it because you know this thing, and do it because you're providing solution to the user that will use that product. All right. Then secondly, network with people. I feel like most people do connect each other. Okay, like the where I'm working now, it was the startup I was working before, the boss I was working with, that asked me to apply for that job. And that was because we always talk. Sometimes outside job, we don't even talk about work at times. We just talk learning generally, how do you cope, everything. So connect with people, talk, don't keep things to yourself. This tech industry, you need to like talk with people, communicate with people, let them know that this is what and what you're doing, this is where you are at, how can you be better at that stage, you get. So also build portfolio. And when you're hunting for jobs and you know that, oh, you're at junior stage, or you've not even reached junior stage, try to look for startup. There is something that a particular guy wrote on Twitter. Actually, I wanted to reply the guy like, oh, this is exactly me. Like, this is what I do when I want to start job hunting. I look at startup that they are not more than maybe 10 in the organization, they are not more than 20. You get. I look at startup, then I try to find them online, go back to LinkedIn, search for their CEO if I can find him on LinkedIn. If not, I'll just go to their site, click on their email, send a direct message to them, telling them that, okay, this is and this is what I can do. I've gone to their site, I saw that they can do this, they can implement this, they can add one or two things, they can make their site, more better than what is there. So just go for startup first, and you will learn when you're in startup compared to when you're in companies that are even big, because they expect you to deliver to them. They will just give you job, deliver. But when you're in startup, they will tell you that, oh, this is what I want, this is what I need to do, this is what, okay, you should not do, this is the direct way. So they will put you through. So go for startup, then from there you can level up. Then most importantly, connect and network with people. Wherever you find yourself, wherever company or organization you find yourself, try and connect with people. Like one of my boss will do say, your network is your net worth. So connect, and he will say connect with the right people also. Don't just connect for the fun sake. It's good to connect also for the fun sake, as okay, hang out, gist. Also connect to people that will link you for that job or for that offer. So basically, this is what I would just say from my experience. Go with startup, then from there advance yourself, and don't stop learning. Keep on upgrading on that your skill. Don't stop learning. Thank you. Okay, I saw a message. How much can they pay junior product designer? It depends on some company though. Some companies start from 150 and some 100 and some 200. So it just depends on company. And at times sef, it depends on your skill. You might think you are a junior developer. If your company hire you and they see what you do, you might not be junior developer to them. I mean, say developer. You might not be a junior product designer to them. You might even be a senior. So just keep on developing on that skill. And when you're ready for job hunt, go for startup first. Then from there, you can move to any stage, Microsoft, Google, Twitter, Facebook, like that. Are you here?
All right, Amina, thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. So I think the last thing you need to do now, can you drop your Twitter handle so people can get to follow you?
Okay, I'll do that.
All right. Okay, so I believe there are no other question for now. All right. So I want to appreciate everyone for joining this meeting, and I want to appreciate our speaker in the person of Aminat Akinode for coming online to teach us on the roadmap to product design, both in how product is being designed and also how to become a product designer. So thank you very much for coming around for this event. And also I want to appreciate the leadership of GDSC for the opportunity given to reach out to people on how to integrate into tech. So I appreciate the leadership. And also I want to appreciate everyone for coming for this meeting, spending your data to join this meeting. I want to appreciate everyone. So thank you so much for joining this meeting. So we are actually rounding up the meeting now. So thank you very much, and I wish us safe, a safe, what will I call it now? Safe electoral process. If you're going to be voting on Saturday, just make sure that you are very careful, and you should go out to vote as well. It's very important. So let's go out to vote, but ensure that you are kept, you are safe, and ensure that you are not involved in arguments on that day. You don't need it. Just go out and get. Oh, from Ghana. Oh, thank you so much for coming online from Ghana. So just ensure that you vote on Saturday and spend the 3 weeks wisely as well. By the time school resumes, it's most likely that exam is going to be starting our test. So spend the 3 weeks wisely. So thank you very much, guys, for joining this meeting. And we will still be having some event as well. I think for the design team is going to have an event on 25th of February. So I also want everyone that joined this particular meeting to follow to join. And also for other meeting that GDSC is going to be having. So thank you very much, guys, for joining tonight's meeting. I'm actually the product design team lead, and my name is Audi GK for introduction's sake. So thank you very much, guys, for having me on this meeting. We can have a very good night. So thank you. So good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Adios, amigos.